We've just simulated some hail damage on V4 corn. This corn is in the V4 stage. That means it's got 4 collared leaves visible at this point. Growing point is still below the ground and protected, but we can still have some significant damage here depending on the amount of damage or amount of extent of the hail that does hit the plant. If you look here, what we can see is there's 2 or 3 different types of damage we'll see. Number one is just a defoliation of the plant. And you can see that we have defoliated the plant somewhat. These leaves are relatively small at this point, and as the plant grows, new leaves succeed it, and they will be larger and contribute more physiologically to the plant. So leaf loss at this stage can be somewhat minimized or minimal, really, in terms of the overall effect on the damage to the plant. The other thing you'll see in some of these plants is some broken over plants, and this is where an issue really develops as to how this plant will recover. When you break that plant over, the new leaves are inside the stem or the whorl, and as they grow upward and emerge, when you bend that plant over, now we've got those leaves still trying to grow out the end of the whorl, but it's bent over and they're going to have difficulty doing that. So that can be a real issue there. Plus, when you damage the leaf tissue, you get the cell sap exudes from the leaves, and then as that dries, it kind of acts like a glue that sticks the tissues together and can make that very difficult for the new leaves to emerge through that. In many cases, the damaged tissue will dry up and the new leaf tissue may be able to push through that, but again, it may not. There are plants out here also that you'll see that are broken off right at the ground. And again, the growing point is below the soil surface at this point on a V4 plant, but depending on the extent of that break, how that new leaf will grow through that is still questionable at this point. Another thing to remember, even on these young plants, even though we don't see them, is that every leaf that this plant will develop, as well as every ear that this plant will develop, is being initiated at this time in a very young plant like this V4 plant. So stresses at this time can have some impact on how those leaves develop and how those ears develop. As this plant attempts to recover, it exudes or expends some of its energy trying to correct from the damage that it has, and so thus it puts stresses on those new tissues that are starting to develop.